Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We have some breaking news that you need to know. Now, the markets reacted to this in a pretty substantial way, so I do think it's important and I do want you to know about this situation. It's very sad, it's very tragic, and I wish I didn't have to report on it. I did make a trade as well today that was perfect timing, I guess. I hate to trade off of this kind of information. If you guys would like to come join the trading community, link down below in the description of this video. We're going to get into everything you need to know on AMC, all the earnings upcoming, what kind of effect this could have on the markets, the data coming out tomorrow morning, what you need to be watching for. So all of this and much more here in this video. AMC stock at the time of recording this video is up 5.5%, not quite the 9-10% we were reporting on in the last video, but the markets have definitely taken a turn for the worst. Just call it that. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. If you've not done so already, consider sharing this video with a friend that also needs to hear this information. Now, the market started to really come down here, getting some pretty big candles in this area because of this specific news that came out. And again, I wish I didn't have to report on this, but 1 hour ago, it says at least 500 people have been eliminated in a hospital building or a hospital bombing, according to the Gaza Health Ministry. The Gaza Health Ministry said an Israeli airstrike hit a hospital in central Gaza and has killed at least 500 people, according to an AP report. If confirmed, the Israeli airstrike would be by far the deadliest since 2008. Israel says there are a lot of airstrikes, a lot of failed rockets, and a lot of fake reports by Hamas, according to the Times of Israel. So nobody really knows. But when the markets heard about this, they said, hey, this could cause intervention from someone else. This could broaden this conflict. Yeah, that's not great. It's also not great that Biden is going over there, probably like literally right now, and he's going to be put in the middle of it if something does escalate, if there is a, bad situation. And that's just not what the markets want, to see. That's not the situation the markets want to deal with. Now, you are getting some officials speaking out about this. Turkey's Erdogan slams airstrike on Gaza hospital, places blame on Israel. Not great. Hamas says it will release civilian hostages in an hour if Israeli strikes on Gaza stop. We'll see ultimately what that means and how long that, ceasefire would stop. Who knows? We did get news earlier, and I reported this to you earlier, that Israel is now saying there might not be an invasion of Gaza, that nobody knows what this next phase of the campaign could be. Quote, the next phase of this campaign could be something different from a ground incursion. Would that just be more bombings? What would that be? Nobody really knows. Okay? So that is, I guess, a little bit better news, but now this hospital situation really complicates things, and we'll have to see what other countries' responses are, like in Iran or Hezbollah, on the situation. The markets, they reacted to it. They reacted pretty aggressively to this news. So it's something I think you need to have on your radar. Now, let's get into what's happening here in the markets. You did get retail sales, as I reported in the last video, that came out much hotter than expectations. On one hand, this is not great for bond yields, but it's really good for the prospects of a soft landing, okay? That's exactly kind of what you want to see, is good economic data if you're in the camp of a soft landing. Now, you are getting some comments from Fed speakers today, and I want to show you exactly that is not great. Look at that. It says, Scoop, the White House has been discussing the possibility of using military force if Hezbollah joins the war in Gaza and attacks Israel with its huge arsenal of rockets. That is not great at all. But Fed Harkin said today Let's see. We'll find it here. Fed barkin, harkin, barkin. Same thing. He's harking a barking. It does say, I believe we have a restrictive policy stance. He also says, I don't know where rates will be in 3 weeks from now, given what's happening globally. This is kind of the first comments that we have seen on this situation with Israel and the Fed, right? On one hand, as I've reported many times, Israel... you know, if there were to see another front open up, it's probably pretty certain we would get involved. At that point, Saudi Arabia or Iran, they control about 20 to 30% of the oil that flows through the Strait of Hormuz every single day. If they wanted to restrict that, that would be an economic disaster for the U.S. And that would have obvious, you know, implications for inflation, but obviously would pretty quickly send you into a recession. So there's a lot of uncertainty here. Now, Fed Barkin says the challenge with depending on rates is they can move. Fed Barkin also says longer-term rates have moved up, which has tightened conditions. I reported on this earlier as well. The 30-year Treasury yield is up about 6.5 basis points today. Throughout the day today, you've actually seen the yields coming off of their highs. It looks like some investors are actually buying the bonds today. That is a little bit of a fear move, not exactly the greatest thing to see. 10-year Treasury yields up about 12 basis points. At one point today, they were up about 15 basis points. So a little bit of that fear move. And you can see here TLT, if you pull up the 1-minute chart, ever since this news really came out about an hour ago that, you know, the U.S. might get involved militarily if Hezbollah were to get involved, and this news of the hospital being bombed, you have definitely caught a bid to bonds, some investors going out and buying some bonds. If you look at USO is up 0.38% now on the day. Earlier in the day, it was slightly down. And let's go ahead and refresh this chart on gold. Gold is up 0.25% today. So you are starting to see the fear move creep into the markets in the second half of trading today. I think this whole situation with the president visiting Israel, like I said, overnight tonight and tomorrow, it really complicates the situation because, I mean, for obvious reasons, right? Do we even have to elaborate on that? Hezbollah, Iran could easily overwhelm Israel's Iron Dome, and you could be in a really treacherous situation quickly. Ultimately start WW3. That's why the markets are a little bit jumpy here. This just is not the greatest situation to be involved in. Now, specifically with our markets, we are going to have some earnings here today in after hours, in which you will have United Airlines, Interactive Brokers, JB Hunt, Hancock Whitney, Pinnacle Financial Partners, Wintrust, Omnicom Group. Tomorrow, pre-market, ASML, P&G, Morgan Stanley, Abbott, U.S. Bancorp, Elevance Health, M&T Bank, NASDAQ, Ally, and First Horizon. Starting tomorrow in after hours, you're going to have Tesla, Netflix, Lam Research, Sands, Las Vegas Sands, Alcoa, Discover, Columbia Bank, Zions Bank Corporation, Steel Dynamics, and Crown Castle. Tesla and Netflix obviously kick off the start of earnings season for really your big tech names, the stocks that really drive the markets, you know, higher or lower. So depending how those earnings are, that could definitely give the markets quite a move. Coming tomorrow. Now, tonight you are going to get some data coming out at 10 o'clock at night from China. You do have the GDP growth rate year-over-year, industrial production year-over-year, retail sales year-over-year, fixed asset investment, GDP growth rate quarter-over-quarter, and the unemployment rate for September, as well as industrial capacity utilization that will be coming out tonight. Overnight tonight, you will get the inflation rate out of the UK. It's highlighted as red as a major volatility catalyst or data report. I'm not certain on that. We'll have to see. A lot of ECB speakers, a lot of ECB data, ECB inflation data, 3-month, 6-month bond auctions, all kinds of stuff coming out from Europe early early tomorrow morning. 8:30 in the morning, you are going to get the building permits preliminary numbers for September out of the U.S., expecting 1.45 million. That would be down from last month's number of 1.54 million. So it looks like building's starting to slow down. You're going to get a lot of Fed speakers as well tomorrow. Fed Waller, Fed Williams, Fed Bowman, Fed Harker, Fed Cook, lots of Fed speakers, and also the Fed Beige Book. The Fed Beige Book is basically like a summary of what's going on in each district by the Fed presidents. So if you do get, you know, a negative Fed Beige Book and people say things are not going great, the markets are obviously not going to like that. And then on Thursday, the big catalyst is really going to be Fed Jerome Powell giving us a speech. So over the next really couple of days here, there's going to be a lot of volatility. There's going to be a lot of big up and down moves, and I think it will affect AMC stock. Now, the news on AMC stock today is pretty straightforward. You did get a price target upgrade from, let's go ahead and double check here from Roth. Let's see. From Roth, MKM, and Eric Handler. They had a 50-cent price target on AMC. They raised that price target by 1,000% to $5. Still, that's 50% lower than where AMC stock currently is, but that's a 1,000% increase to their previous price target. That is good news. That sent AMC stock up a lot. And just be honest with you guys, I think right now, you know, AMC just wants a reason to move higher. Right? It's going to be very volatile, but when you get good news, it's one of those things where it's sending the stock higher. It's much different than what we have seen in the past, where when we were dealing with the court situation, this litigation of, you know, the ape and all of that we dealt with for almost a year. AMC stock really, good news didn't affect AMC. I believe on the earnings, when AMC actually turned its first profit since pre-pandemic, the stock was up like 1% that day. That should have been a 20+% day without that court litigation. So now I think earnings are going to be important. I think any other catalyst or data that you get is going to have the ability to move AMC stock a lot more than it maybe previously did. Now, if you look at the short score for AMC, you have $144 million worth of short positions on AMC. Estimated short interest on free float at 7.8%. Free float out on loan at 11.26%. Shares out on loan to 22.26 million. Days to cover 1.22. Cost to borrow 1.79, and utilization of 47.7. So take these numbers with a big grain of salt. If you look at the cost to borrow fees, you got about 6% on the cost to borrow max, about 1% on the cost to borrow minimum, and cost to borrow average. Again, I don't think those numbers are correct at all. And if you look at the option activity for the day today, it looks like 6 orders totaling $336.37 thousand have went into AMC with a positive order value of 51%. But if you take a look at the option data over here, go ahead and refresh this page. Let's see exactly what we're looking at now. You do have about 170,000 options that have traded hands today, 107,000 of which were calls, and about 64,000 of which were puts. Ask or above, about 50,000 calls were bought, meaning that people really wanted to just get into these positions, even at a higher asking price, really pushing that bid higher. And at the ask or above here on the put side, about 31,000 contracts. So it looks like the calls definitely outweighing the puts here, and that's basically the story for many expirations down the line. If you look at options expiring by this Friday, you do see about 39,000 calls in the money, 153,000 calls out the money. In the money puts at 16,517. Out the money puts at 110,000. So a lot of option activity here expiring this week, and really over the next multi-weeks, multi-months here, you are definitely looking at the potential to see, to some degree, a gamma squeeze. Again, if you look at the puts call ratio, you didn't see any rallies during this period, big rallies, I should say. During this period when the put to call ratio was low, you did see big rallies, multi-100% rallies. So I do think it's only a matter of time before AMC stock goes much higher. And again, the good news is today AMC stock is above its longer-term downtrending level of support. You're finding a little bit of resistance at that 8-day moving average at $9.87 per share. But as long as you stay above this teal line right here, your odds are going to make your way to about $15 per share. question at that point is, do you break above 15? Do you find resistance there? Do you get rejected? Who knows the answer to that one? If you look at the MACD, you are firmly still in positive territory. MACD is trying to actually go positive. You're still negative about 1 to 2 on the MACD, so getting closer there, and the RSI is at 44.03, which is a little bit on the oversold side. So pretty good things to report. Again, biggest dangers we have is really this escalation of conflict over in the Middle East, and what the response is from everyone else on this airstrike that just killed 500 people at a hospital. That does not look great. These are not soldiers by and large. These are just civilians. So let me know what you guys think about all of this information. Let me know what you think about the markets here. Are you hedging? Are you not? Let me know what you guys think, as well as AMC Stock. Do you think AMC Stock is going higher from here? Let me know down below in the comment section. Again, if you guys want to come join the trading community, link down below in the description of this video. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video on your way out, all of that good stuff. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.